So we're talking about goals, like and how technology can promote some goals over others. What do you think the goal? And remember, I need you to raise your hand because we gotta organize it. What do you think the goal of school is?
To get us to learn something.
Okay.
To help us get a better job.
Okay.
To understand what we're learning.
Okay, now hold on a second. The way that you said that makes me think that maybe you think there's a difference between understanding and a different way of learning. I could be wrong.
I don't even know what he said.
What?
Learning is just watching, understanding
say?
and actually doing it.
Wait, what did he say?
He said to actually understand what we're learning. And I'm wondering, so is there? It makes it sound like there's understanding and then there's something else. What's the something else?
Knowing.
What's the difference?
Like understand.
One, you can explain it after you know it, and one, you just know it, but you know
Like
it.
learning, knowing is like you can't you know what it is, but you can't explain it very well. But understanding, like,
Don't you always say that?
understanding it,
Learning
you
to
put your own
memorize
words.
it.
yeah, you put it into your own words so you can let others.
Really, go ahead.
Like knowing it is like because you memorized it and
So knowing is memorization. So what's understanding?
like being able to communicate with others about it.
Okay. And so I want to focus on what she just said. And one way that I often there's memorizing and there's understanding. When I talk about memorizing, I often talk about trivial knowledge. Like when you guys think about a game show, it's called a trivia show, or like Trivial Pursuit. That's a game board. They ask you a question, you either know the answer or you don't. So when I say trivia, that's what I mean. I mean memorized knowledge. What's an example of trivia?
What 2 + 2?
Okay. And so what's an example of understanding?
How do you know what 2 + 2 is?
Okay. An example I use that I've been using in other classes that when was Abraham Lincoln born would be an example of what?
Knowing.
So
Trivia.
trivia.
Trivia, sorry.
And then why was Abraham Lincoln's presidency so important would be an example of understanding. And so now hold on. I don't actually want to talk about Abraham Lincoln.
Okay.
All right. I think most of you probably know that.
Yes.
So now I'm going to go back to this, because again, I'm trying to help you understand what this means. And so you might want to be writing some of this stuff down that we talk about. So there's 2 goals in education, and there's a lot more other goals. But we talked about there's the possible goal of trivia, and there's a possible goal of understanding. A website like Google, which of those 2 goals, trivia or understanding, do you think a site like Google promotes or supports?
No.
Trivia.
Yeah, trivia.
Why would you say trivia?
Because like when you're looking at when you're like trying when we're doing global warming, we're like trying to we're getting evidence that makes us seem like we know. I don't know. I better remember. I tried to make an example out of it.
Somebody else. Why would we think Google supports trivia rather than understanding?
Because
Go ahead.
it just tells us facts. It just tells us the facts.
And what doesn't it tell us?
How did
How did that happen? Why it happened?
Okay. Jennifer, what would you say?
Pretty much the same thing that Trevor said. They just tell us like what happened, but they never tell us how they figured it out, when it happened, or like what caused it.
Okay. And so I want to add something up here, and you can agree or disagree with me, but I want you to write it down because I want you to start thinking about it. Is that technology chooses goals for us. And I'm not saying Google can't be used to get understanding, but just kind of the way that Google is set up supports this idea of knowing facts is more important than understanding the facts. And so the Google technology has kind of chosen the trivia goal over the understanding goal, which is a difficult concept. What questions do you have about that idea? All right. The next question I want to talk about is why might side effects